You're watching Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we got a plethora of roster moves to get to. We'll catch you up to speed with everything you need to know when it comes to players that have been signed, claimed, released, activated from the injury list, and more. Coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, our channel is getting so close to 61,000 subscribers, less than 500 away from reaching that next milestone. For daily Seahawks coverage, whether it's our news and rumors, our watch parties on game days, live shows on Wednesdays, breaking news, Q-Day mailbags, you got to subscribe to the channel. The run to the playoffs is on. No one else is going to be covering your Seattle Seahawks like we will here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. To subscribe now for free. Let's break down the latest roster updates for Seattle heading into Week 15 against the Green Bay Packers. And what we're going to do, we're going to kind of catch you up on everything over this last week. In case you missed something, we want to make sure that you're up to date with everything that's gone on. We're going to focus on a couple of them that have happened more recently on the show, but I do want to kind of go back a little ways just to make sure everybody knows what's up. Let's start back on December 5th when Uchenna Nwosu was activated, and we did see him play against the Arizona Cardinals this week, playing in a total of 21 snaps. I would expect that number to go up. Dee Williams was released after struggling against the New York Jets. He and Shenault were both ultimately let go in the same week. Meanwhile, Jaelon Darden was claimed off waivers that same day at the wide receiver position. Jason Peters at the offensive tackle spot was placed on injured reserve. It seems unlikely that we will see him for the remainder of the season. And then George Holani, who got activated for last Sunday's game, he has gone back to the practice squad, but we could potentially, depending on Kenneth Walker's status this week, see him get elevated right back to the active roster again. Then we go to punter Ty Zenter, who was released from the practice squad. He was brought in with the injury to Michael Dixon, but Dixon obviously played. He's fine, so they didn't necessarily need to keep Zenter around. And then the most recent updates. Here's what's gone on today. Artie Burns at the corner position has been designated to return, as has safety Kayvon Wallace. And then with that, Britton Brown rounds out the roster updates as he was signed to the practice squad at the running back position. So, all in all, what does this mean for the 12s? With the run to the playoffs officially upon us, we got 4 weeks left in the regular season. Typically what you see with teams this time of year, it's a battle for attrition. Teams just trying to survive. In the Seahawks case, they are actually getting healthier down the stretch, which is very unusual to be talking about this time of year for most teams. You get Nwosu back last week, you get Artie Burns, you get Kayvon Wallace back. That defense, adding 3 players in a week stretch, that's a very, very good sign. Let's start with Artie Burns. Artie Burns, the former first-round pick out of the University of Miami, previously played with the Steelers and the Bears. A lot of experience, 87 career games played with 39 starts in the National Football League. And he's been here for a little while now. Although we haven't necessarily seen a ton of Artie Burns on the football field since he's been with the Seahawks, obviously Seattle has enjoyed having him around. At this rate, for all the changes the Seahawks have been through, there's something they like about Artie Burns. He's got to at least be a good locker room guy of sorts for them to stay as connected as they've had to keep him around. And even if he doesn't play, just having him back from injury should be a nice asset to have in the locker room, especially working with some of these younger guys in that corner room for the Seahawks. Meanwhile, Kayvon Wallace at the safety position makes his return. The former 4th-round pick out of Clemson, previously with the Eagles, Cardinals, and Titans. Played in 71 career games, played with 19 starts. He was signed this offseason by Seattle as a backup piece to Rayshon Jenkins and Julian Love. Obviously, Rayshon Jenkins has been passed up for Kobe Bryant, but now you have some depth at this safety position with bringing back Wallace, with Jenkins getting healthy now, and we've seen Julian Love play at a Pro Bowl level again this year. Kobe Bryant's play has really stepped up in the last few weeks. I really like what's going on with this safety position. Just a few weeks ago, the conversation we were having about this safety room in Seattle was a bit concerning with as many players that were banged up. They were at one point down to 3 healthy safeties. Now they have some good options here to potentially work with and give them some flexibility. What is your one-word reaction to the Seahawks roster moves? What is it? I'll give you my one word coming up in a moment, but I want to hear from you guys first. Way in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time has got you covered, including tickets to see your Seattle Seahawks in action, whether it's a Seahawks game, maybe it's a Kraken game, all sorts of events going on around Seattle and the great state of Washington. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have their super deals. If you see a super deal, that's a deal you don't want to pass up on. They have their seat views where you get the visual, see what that seat is like. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. My one word is health. That is a huge factor of what we're talking about here is this Seahawks team getting healthy at this point in the season. They're already on a 4-game winning streak. They're playing their best football of the year with the way things have gone over the last few weeks. It's a huge step in the right direction for what this team is doing right now. And when you see these other teams, like I was going through the injury report today for the Green Bay Packers, and you'll see that in our game preview coming up later in the week. The Packers are pretty banged up right now, and that's a team you had to compete with. You go on down the line, like a lot of teams are just really banged up right now and just trying to fight for survival at this point. That's not the case with Seattle, and they took their bumps along the way. The injury report, if I go back a month ago, was pretty lengthy, and we were saying to ourselves, what is this team going to do? They can't catch a break. Now, as we enter this home stretch, this team is catching the breaks they're looking for. Let's look at the corner room with Artie Burns joining that group. He'll slide in. Trey Brown's a little bit banged up right now, but Josh Jobe, Mike Macdonald's liked what he's seen from him as he was elevated from the practice squad several weeks ago and has made his presence known. He had a good game against the Bills, where he had his first career interception. Rick Wollins had a nice bounce-back season. Devin Witherspoon's been solid this year. I don't know how much we'll actually see Artie on the field, but we mentioned earlier all that experience he has. If his name is called, he'll be ready to step up and contribute to this Seahawks team if they potentially need him. The last time we really saw him a significant amount was back in 2023. He did play in 14 games for Seattle. Before that, you had to go back to 2021 when he played in 11 total games. And not any earth-shattering statistics by any stretch, but a lot of experience that he brings to the table. Meanwhile, the safety group for Seattle, let's talk about that for a moment here. And you look at this situation for the Seahawks with what they're going to do with getting Kayvon Wallace back. Bryant and Love have been a very nice 1-2 punch. Jenkins, he's only been back for a couple of weeks. He made some nice plays against Arizona here. I think with the emergence of Kobe Bryant, one of the things you're going to see is what we've talked a lot about with this Seahawks team previously, which is the flexibility to do different things. One of the things that Mike Macdonald excelled at when he was with the Baltimore Ravens was getting creative in the safety room with the 3 high safety looks, with what he was able to do with Marcus Williams and Kyle Hamilton and Geno Stone, and they had the best safety room in football. Now that Kobe Bryant is playing at a high level, and you have two other starter quality guys in Rajon Jenkins and Julian Love, and then Kayvon Wallace there, now that those guys are there and they're healthy, they can start to get creative. And we heard Mike Macdonald say earlier this week that one of the things that he wants to do with this defense, and guys like Kayvon Wallace that could potentially contribute in this sense, is that they want to get ahead of the opposing offenses that they face. When it comes schematically, they want to put themselves in a position where the offense doesn't see what they're doing coming, that they are in a position where the offense isn't prepared for what they're going to do next. So now just having more bodies involved, like a Kayvon Wallace, opens up the arsenal a bit where you can get a little more creative in the potential packages you could come up with for that safety group. Who's going to have a bigger impact for Seattle down the stretch? Will it be the return of Artie Burns, or will it be the return of Kayvon Wallace? Type AB for Artie Burns, KW for Kayvon Wallace. Weigh in the comment section and let us know. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today for the latest happenings on your favorite team all season and all year long. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. To subscribe now for free. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.